How bad are things between Donald Trump and the Republican Party? So bad that one leading conservative says, quote, now is a time to jump ship. His latest book is Liars, How Progressives Exploit Our Fears for Power and Control. Glenn Beck, the founder of The Blaze, joins me now. I know you consider yourself a libertarian, but you do have conservative views, correct? Don't you?
Yes, but I don't like calling myself a conservative anymore because of the Donald Trump thing. I don't know what it means to be a conservative. I'm a constitutionalist.
Okay, before we get into all of that, I want to get your reaction first. This is a new poll out. It's from Pew. It's showing Hillary Clinton down from her post-convention bounce, Trump remaining at 37. What do you think of that?
I'm surprised it's that high. You know, I've said for a long time.
For him or her?
For him.
Yeah.
You know, I've thought Hillary Clinton is one of the worst candidates of my lifetime. I don't think I've seen a more flawed candidate. And who do the Republicans give you? Someone who makes her look strong.
Someone who has. They're both the most unliked candidates in recent history.
Oh my gosh,
for president.
Yeah. And it's crazy how people on both sides of the aisle have just accepted the lies and will go to the mat for each of these. I mean, you say anything about Hillary Clinton, and her supporters will go to the mat for her. Come on, you know she's been lying. When it comes to Donald Trump, same thing. Come on, you know he's lying. Nope.
You can't even say anymore, just answer my question or repeat the candidate's own words back to, you know, a surrogate or even to them without being called biased. It's really an unbelievable time, and it's really a dicey time for journalists. Glenn, I want to talk about yesterday. You know about Stephen Bannon, named CEO of the Trump campaign. You said in your radio show, quote, Andrew Breitbart is spinning in his grave now. Yeah. And then you went on to call Bannon a horrible and despicable human being. Explain your reaction to him being named as a campaign executive, chief executive.
Oh my gosh, I think he is. I mean, he's a guy who does his research with the dark web. You know, he's got his fingers in some very dark places, from what I am told. I know lots of people who have worked for him. He will make the Nixon administration look like Mary Poppins. He is a play to win and kill your enemy kind of guy. He is vindictive. There's been many people who have told me that he has been sending messages to not only me, but anybody that has my opinion that we don't like Donald Trump, that he will never forget, and to his dying day, he will make us pay. He is not a fair journalist, and he's a dangerous man, I think. You give him power, and he's a dangerous man. You put him and Manafort with his Russia connections, Trump, and this guy together, you've got the makings of a dark army.
It's Roger Ailes too, and it's Roger Stone, who are consulting with Trump. And this is what David Axelrod wrote for CNN about Bannon and Roger Ailes. He said, the presence of Ailes, whose edgy television channel became a rallying point for conservatives, and Bannon, whose right-wing news website is also notoriously pugilistic, portends a bloody fall campaign. And in ever-combative Trump, they will find a willing deliverer of missiles. The question with Trump is always, where will they land? Even if Trump were adding the greatest political team in history, which he is not, the problem is not the campaign. The problem is the candidate whose allergy to substance and impulse to react angrily and often tastelessly to any provocation has unnerved voters.
Can I make a prediction of what's coming?
Sure.
And I would love to enlist anybody on the left, anybody on the right, anybody who is tired of the lies from both parties, that just feel that we can find common ground and common decency among us, to listen to what I'm going to say. I believe Donald Trump is going to lose. I believe he's going to start his own network. I believe it's going to be run by Bannon. I don't think Roger Ailes will be involved because of his non-compete, but Roger Stone will be involved. And what's going to happen is Donald Trump is going to make this look like it was a stolen election. He will divide us even more. He, with his alt-right kind of viewpoint, it will grow, it will metastasize. There will be maybe 10 to 15% of the population that will just become virulent, and he will create possibly a third party, but he will definitely cause a movement, and it will all be for his fame and money.
You think he knows he's going to lose, and all of this by
Yes.
the hiring of Bannon is to do a network, and that's the end game for him, right?
Yeah, I think he wants to, but I think he wants to go out swinging. And believe me, if he gets in, you're looking at I think you're looking at a South American dictatorship if we would go into war, civil unrest, and economic instability. I think he's so unconnected to reality and disconnected to clear thinking on global issues that I think you could see us going into a horrible, horrible situation.
This is why you're telling people to vote for the bottom of the ticket, to do down ballot instead of voting for Donald
I don't
Trump.
believe. Yeah, I don't think things are going to be a picnic with either of them. Even if that doesn't happen, we have trouble on the way, and we need strong constitutionalists on both sides of the aisle. People who say the Bill of Rights; those are good things. And vote for those people at the bottom of the ticket to hold whoever wins, to hold their feet to the fire. But I know one thing, Don, we better start talking to each other and uniting with each other, the common sense people on both sides of the aisle, or we're toast.
I agree, because everyone wants to be at each other's throats, and I don't really like that. Every time I have someone on, I try to get them to come to some sort of consensus, and it seems like this election cycle, everyone wants to fight and point out what's wrong with either side. Which brings me to your book. Okay, let's get to that because that's important. Your new book is entitled "Liars: How Progressives Exploit Our Fears for Power and Control." And here's a quote: "Politics is no longer about pointing to a shining city on the hill. It is about promising you a shiny new car for your driveway. The candidate who tells the people what they want to hear is usually the one who wins. Facts be damned." So I think you're right on that. But you think that's just progressives? I think that, Donald Trump is doing that. The other candidates are doing that.
Wait. Look at the picture. Look at the picture. On the first card, I'm holding cards. On the first card is Donald Trump's face. Progressives, you can't... this is not a hatchet book on progressives. It's really not. It's more of a history book. You'll find really unbelievably sympathetic things about Margaret Sanger, believe it or not, because I tried to find out what makes people tick. We worked with behavioral scientists to try to figure out why this works and what's happening. But progressivism should not be confused with liberal or Democrat. Progressivism runs across the board, and it is the desire to control other people. Progressivism is about statism. If you're talking about early 20th century progressivism, which I'm talking about, and the long-term plan of where that's heading, I think there's a lot of people that claim that they're progressives that don't know the history of progressivism. And it's important to know, as Hillary Clinton describes herself as an early 20th century American progressive. With her being that specific, you have to find out what that is in the first place. But Donald Trump is a progressive as well, just a nationalist progressive as opposed to an internationalist progressive.
The book is called "Liars: How Progressives Exploit Our Fears for Power and Control," and he says progressives it's not just Democrats. Progressives can be conservatives as well. Thank you.
Big time.
Thank you, Glenn.
It started with the Republicans.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Always a pleasure to have you on. Thank you, Glenn.
You bet. Bye-bye.